What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'll be going through every single episode of all 15 seasons of Ninjago and share one fun fact about each of them. So let's talk about this. Now, me and probably you guys know way too much about this show. Probably too much for my own good. And so much of that information I would love to talk about in videos, but I really couldn't talk about all of them. So I thought today this would be a fun way to let it all spill out. Now, I'm going to try and stray from obvious stuff and highlight information that may be a little less commonly known. And I know that some of you diehard fans may already know some of the stuff talked about here. But regardless, my hope is for you to walk away from this video having learned something new about Ninjago that you didn't know or noticed before. Now try to keep count of how many things were totally new to you and post that number below in the comments once you reach the end. Now before we run down every fact of all 15 seasons of Ninjago, we got some little ground rules. Number 1 is that we are going to be including the 2 specials and the pilot episodes just because that the pilot episodes are just 2 episodes long while the 2 specials are just double-length episodes. Now, we're also not going to be including the Ninjago shorts because those are shorts, not episodes, and we aren't including the Ninjago movie. That is because that it is a movie, not an episode. And finally, we are not adding Dragon's Rising into this just because that the show is still going on till this day, but we are more focusing on the original series. But those are of course the ground rules. But with that out of the way, here is one fact about all 210 episodes of Ninjago. The pilot episodes. Way of the Ninja. An early work print of the episode shows Kai with a different hairpiece. This hairpiece was mostly used in the LEGO Exoforce line used for Hikaru, Gateguard, and Hitomi. King of Shadows. Master Wu's original voice was deemed politically incorrect and too stereotypic. Paul Dubson re-recorded all of his lines for the final version of the show, with a less different, offensive voice. However, one line was accidentally kept by mistake due to an editing error.
Father would not want you to do this, brother.
Rise of the Serpentine. Rise of the Snakes. This infamous meme is from this episode.
Could I be the Green Ninja?
Home. This episode marks the first appearance of the Postman in a full-length episode, while his first appearance was in the short Flight of the Dragon Ninja. Snakebite. Back in 2010, Tommy Andreasen recorded a video of himself performing movements with a toy lightsaber to demonstrate to Peter Hasling the style of movement of which Kai would summon his blade cycle from the Sword of Fire. Never trust a snake. Jay enters the elevator to go to the top floor, but he seems to be pressing the bottom floor button even though he's going to the top floor. Can of Worms. When LEGO finally made Pig Zane as a minifigure back in 2020, it wasn't a direct recolor of his trainee suit. The minifigure was more of an inspiration to modernize the suit. The Snake King. The film theorists made a direct reference to the city of Ouroboros.
It was common in Egyptian, Greek, and Norse myth and has been used symbolically in everything from the X-Files to Fullmetal Alchemist to Ninjago.
TikTok. The song Zane sings in this episode is the 1952 Joe Howard song, Hello My Baby.
Hello, my baby, hello, my man, hello, my ragtime gal, singing a kiss by wire, hey, my heart's on fire.
Once bitten, twice shy. Nia's formal dress design matches the design of the dress that Willie Scott's minifigure wore in the Indiana Jones set Shanghai Chase, but with the exposed skin elements recolored to yellow instead of flesh. The Royal Blacksmiths. Cole's LEGO.com description for Rebooted was he only attended Marty Oppenheimer's School of Performing Arts for 2 days before running away. The Green Ninja. Vincent Tong was very mad when he found that Lloyd was the Green Ninja and not Kai.
How do you feel when you found out Lloyd was the Green Ninja?
I was so mad. I honestly thought Kai was going to be the Green Ninja. And I think that's what they were trying to do. And I was so pissed when I wasn't the Green Ninja. I remember reading the scripts and like just so excited, like Kai's going to reach his full potential and like become the Green Ninja. And then when I was like Lloyd, I was like, ugh, why?
All of nothing. The Ninjago Series Bible reveals this episode was originally titled The Green Ninja, while the previous episode was titled Sleeping with the Enemy, which they later changed both titles. The Rise of the Great Devourer. When the little boy says to his mom that snakes are kicking people off the bus, there is a second person added behind his mother who is not in the previous shot. Day of the Great Devourer. When the ninja arrive at the junkyard, several tires can be seen clipping through the wall. Legacy of the Green Ninja. Darkness Shall Rise. The track Day Jobs was originally composed for this montage, but it was mostly cut from the episode. Pirates vs. Ninja. Michael Kramer originally wrote lyrics for the pirates singing at the beginning of the episode, but LEGO told them that this would be too complicated because it would require translating and hiring voice actors for the translations. So instead, Kramer and Jay Vincent made the pirates sing pirate gibberish.
Actually, a very funny story to go with the pirates. So Kramer wrote some brilliant pirate lyrics, and we heard back from the LEGO people, and they said we like it, but you know, this is translated into so many other languages. We're going to have to hire voice actors, and it's just going to be this huge mess. And so, do you think you could just come up with just pirate gibberish? That way we wouldn't have to translate it. So we had to do something strictly in pirate, and that's what you heard.
Double Trouble. The evil ninja are imitations of the ninja, which they lack souls, thus making them not have gone to the departed realm upon destruction. Ninja Ball Run. The name of this episode is a nod to the 1981 movie The Cannonball Run, which stars Jackie Chan, which he then goes on to voicing Master Wu in the LEGO Ninjago movie. Child's Play. This wasn't the last time we saw the Grundle in the show. He appeared briefly in the comic Fighting Techniques, where Plundar apparently once encountered a Grundle and stole all of its teeth, which may be him exaggerating. Wrong Place, Wrong Time. The shadow form of Garmadon's past self has slightly changed from its appearance in the pilot, being less translucent and having his present form's helmet design. The Stone Army. Lloyd annoyingly groans,
Is it Wednesday already?
which is a nod towards the fact that new Ninjago episodes aired on Cartoon Network at this day of the week. The day Ninjago stood still. KFC is canon to the show, as several advertisements for NFC are visible on the street. The Last Voyage. Doc White confirmed that the Star Teeth are from the realm of monsters. Island of Darkness. Brent Miller did over a dozen tries of Zane's line, "I got us into this mess. I know how to get us out," before he got the version used in this episode.
Get us out. 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 Get us out.
I like that.
Don't put the 20 takes on the DVD. I don't really want to see that part.
The Last Hope. This infamous moment is from this episode.
I believe it is an ancient language. Will somebody say something? Bada bada bing bong. Cheep cheep ta ta ta. Tick tock, bequeath, bequeath, bequeath.
Return of the Overlord. The working title for this episode was called The Overlord Command. Rise of the Spinjitzu Master. When this season went into many revisions during its production, the ending was always going to end with Garmadon purified, and they had this idea since the start of production of Season 2. Rebooted. The Surge. In the Japanese version of this episode, Kai hums the Wicked Whip in the shower.
これからカイ君のお宝シーンをお届けしますおいプライバシーの侵害だぞ
The Art of the Silent Fist. Rebooted's intro became a huge meme last year, describing the characters in 2024. Blackout. This episode marks the first time that Jay's last name, Walker, is heard on screen.
I miss another signature jaywalker gutbuster.
You backstabbing no good!
The Curse of the Golden Master. A version of the Apple Macintosh startup sound could be heard in the background when Borg uses Pixel's new energy source to start up his computer system.
By glory's grace, my office has clean, untouched by evil power.
Enter the Digiverse. Ninjago Ninjoids dubbed the scene where Garmadon yells "brother" before falling, then screaming.
Brother?
Codename Arcturus. The Hickman brothers have a cameo appearance in the theater. This marks their first appearance in the series. The Void. The ninja spacesuits are based on the Spaceman minifigure from Series 1, which they cleverly hide the classic space logo. The Titanium Ninja. Both Season 3's, Rebooted and Dragon's Rising, have some funny coincidence, with Zane getting a new body, Pixel being introduced and then reintroduced. Zane has a fake-out death with a build to protect, and Pixel fixes Zane. Tournament of Elements. The Invitation. Jay's TV host torso is based on the torso from Mr. Gold from Series 10. Only one can remain. Cole's hair actually clips through the pillows. Versus. This episode marks the last time the capital city of Ninjago is referred to as New Ninjago City. Later in the season, the city is referred to by its original name, Ninjago City, once again. Ninja Roll. Dareth's love of puffy pocket stickers is expanded upon in the Lego.com story, which explains that he loves them because his mother would make them for him when he was a child. Spy for Spy. The Hickman brothers have stated that this was a tough episode to track and agreed that it would have benefited from more action, which does make sense because there weren't a lot of action moments or scenes throughout this episode. It was more of Nia trying to sneak into Klaus's dorm and trying to steal the page for the spell. Spellbound. The Great Devourer was supposed to be in this episode, presumably in place of the Anacondrae Serpent. The Forgotten Element. The 2017 Dragon's Forge includes an alternate face for Kai that resembles his corrupted face from this episode, though with orange eyes instead of red. The Day of the Dragon. When Kapow and Chop are transformed into fake Anacondrae, they remark that they now need cooler names. This is likely a reference to their names in the sets, Kapowra and Chopra, although these names are never mentioned in the show. The Greatest Fear of All. This episode and other episodes aired on Cartoon Network as part of Ninja of the Week. The Corridor of Elders. Moro wasn't voiced by Andrew Francis, instead was voiced by Michael Dobson in this episode. The following season, Moro was voiced by Andrew Francis moving forward. Possession. Winds of Change. After they cut the track from the episode Darkness Shall Rise, Day Jobs was finally used in the episode after being cut for 3 years. Ghost Story. Ronin, weirdly with blonde hair instead of ginger, can actually be spotted in the biker tavern where he leaves upon seeing Moro. Sticks and Stones. Ronin offers to sell the ninja a set of obsidian armor, which could be a reference to the obsidian weapons in the game. The Temple of Haunted Hill. The Wu's Academy student's left arm disappears. Peekaboo. The Wailing Alps is nearly twice the height of Mount Everest, the tallest mountain on Earth. Kingdom Come. This is Dareth's only appearance in this season, where he doesn't have a prominent role. The Crooked Path. Cole is seamlessly wearing armor pads when going to the minecart, which he should have not be wearing as it's made of deep stone. Grave Danger. Lloyd somehow has the deep stone shoulder armor that the ninja also have, but this doesn't make any sense since he never gained the shoulder pads due to being possessed by Moro in the majority of the season. Curse World Part 1. Paul Dobson is credited as voicing Gultar, despite Gultar not speaking in this episode. Curse World Part 2. This is the first episode and final time along with Curse World Part 1 to have the word part in an episode. They would finally return in an episode titled With the Merge Part 1 and Part 2. Skybound. Infamous. Back in 2015, the Hickman brothers showed the first draft of the first scene of the episode on Twitter to celebrate Ninja Day. Public Enemy Number 1. When Jay tries to obtain some ninja chips from a vending machine, on the ninja chips bag, Nia can be seen wearing Lloyd's possession suit while Lloyd is wearing Kai's. Encrypted. The prison numbers on the ninja are based on the set numbers for the Season 6 sets. Cole's number was 70599, which was Cole's Dragon. Zane's prison number was 70603, Raid Zeppelin. Kai's number was 70600, which is Ninja Bike Chase. Lloyd's number was 70601, Sky Shark. Jay's number was 70602, Jay's Elemental Dragon. And Nia's was 70604, Tiger Widow Island. Misfortune Rising. The events after Skybound. The letter Jay got that claims his father was dead was never delivered. This means that Jay is still waiting to claim his inheritance. On a wish and on a prayer. So far, this is the only time in the series where Lloyd refers to his mother, Misako, by her name.
We lost Wu, then Misako.
My Dinner with Nauticon. After making lots of Woo Crew promotions in 2016, many Woo Crew logos were hidden somewhere throughout each episode of Season 6, except for encrypted for unknown reasons. Wishmasters. Even though the Hickman brothers have speaking roles in this episode, they didn't voice themselves. Alan Marion plays Dan, and Ian James Corlin plays Kevin. The Last Resort. The swords on Jay's back disappears and reappears as the scene progresses. Operation Lanho. Wu, Misako, and the other ninja, all of their mounts do not move. The Way Back. The ninja actually died when they all were encased in gold. However, they were brought back to life when they were turned back after Nauticon was hit with the venom. Which, to be honest, that is a gruesome death. I can't believe they actually showed the ninjas died back in Season 6, which was kind of crazy of a scene. Day of the Departed. This is the first episode, or special, not written by the Hickman brothers due to scheduling conflicts with them writing Troll Hunters. David Shane stepped in as writer for the special and later stayed on until Season 7. Hands of Time. The Hands of Time. In Finland, this episode aired in late 2016. The Hatching. Parody versions of Candy Crush and Fruit Ninja are canon in Ninjago, where Acronix is briefly seen playing it on the board pad.
Yes! Smashed all the candy! Yes! Slice that fruit!
A Time of Traitors. Kai's vision from the painting of his parents is not a flashback, but rather what his mind makes of the image. Scavengers. In the Brazilian dub for this episode, the title changed to Aporico Metal Perisco, which translates to Operation Heavy Metal, which is a title of the shorts of the same name. A Line in the Sand. Tommy Andreasen stated it may be his favorite episode in this season. The Attack. This episode provides multiple insights into Jay, Kai, and Nia's childhoods, albeit minor ones. Jay has had a stuffed animal named Mr. Cuddlywob since he was 5, and Kai and Nia had a babysitter named Mrs. Grumsmiller when they were young. Secrets discovered. In the secret room of the blacksmith workshop, there are 2 curtains with a fire and water symbol on them, which is the exact same design as the symbols for the Fire Nation and Water Tribes in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Tommy Andreasen stated that this was most likely due to a lazy designer, which, yeah, I could see that, and this is what their secrets were discovered. Pause and Effect. Ironically, despite Cole possessing super strength through his elemental power, Jay is asked to carry Karloff up through the skylight with Airjitsu, with the result being Jay falling because Karloff is too heavy. Which, to be honest, I feel bad for Jay. I wish Cole would have done it, but even then, I wish some of the elemental masters have learned Airjitsu. Out of the Fire and Into the Boiling Sea. This episode has the longest title in the series, with 40 characters long. Other episodes got so close to 36 and 37. Lost in Time. This is the last season to feature the Aldo the Apache font and the title cards. which was replaced with a coup de cause fought in the following season. Sons of Garmadon. The Mask of Deception. 11 minutes of this episode was released as a sneak peek on the Blu-ray release of the LEGO Ninjago movie. The Jade Princess. The sign for the theater says, Present Brick Fun by Wilfilm, which means that Wilfilm animated this movie. Which, funny enough, they are the animation studios for making the first 10 seasons. The Oni and the Dragon. The song that Cole requests was Creeping Death by Metallica. However, what song plays instead of Creeping Death is the 1950s song called Glowworm by the Mills Brothers.
A little worm, never, never shine. A little worm, never, never leave us. Let's do while we wonder. Love's sweet voices calling yonder.
Snake Jaguar. The name Snake Jaguar came from Kelly Metzger when she met her boyfriend, where he says if this relationship continues, she would promise him that they would name their firstborn Snake Jaguar. This didn't happen, but they did add the name as it's the second middle name of Kelly Metzger's child.
Years ago, I met my boyfriend on a motorcycle trip, and I get down to Nicaragua to hop on the back of his bike, and he says to me, okay, it's great that you're here, but if this relationship is going to continue, do you promise to name our firstborn Snake Jaguar? And I was like, yeah, whatever, hypotheticals, I'm not gonna argue, sure, our firstborn is Snake Jaguar.
Yes.
And he was like, okay, but we didn't know if it was gonna be a girl or a boy. He's like, remember, you promised that our firstborn was named Snake Jaguar. And I was like, no, that can be a nickname, you know, no, especially if it's a girl, no. But every day or every time we talk about names, he's like, well,
he's bringing it up.
You know, you can, first name can be whatever they want, but it has to be Snake Jaguar, at least in the middle name. And her second middle name would be Snake Jaguar.
It's actually on the birth certificate.
It's on the birth certificate.
Dead Man Squall. This was the toughest episode to produce. Tommy Andreasen stated that the first draft script wasn't very good, and still some great ideas, which would have made it even more intense, didn't make it into the episode. The Quiet One. The beast that chases Lloyd and Harumi appears to be a green Grundle. This was done because reusing an already existing creature model to save money. Game a Mask. In some countries, the scene where Toddler Wu throws a wrench at Chopper Maroon is removed. Dread on Arrival. With this season having some dark tones, Simon says the police don't carry guns, despite some using them in Season 6. This was needed to make the show more child-friendly, and I don't know why they had the guns in Season 6. True Potential. Visitong made a vlog showcasing a day of a life of a voice actor. In that shows a behind-the-scenes clip of him, Kelly Metzger, and Red Miller singing the Wicked Whip for the karaoke scene.
One time. Yes,
Yeah, sure.
one time.
Shit, it happens every time.
It's time for training and we're getting started. It's on, you know. Fire! And we wanna see you whip and shout it. We rock, you roll. Just jump up, kick back, whip around and spin. And then we jump back, do it again. Ninja, go! Ninja, come on, and give the wicked.
That was sorry.
awesome.
Was I supposed to do the
No, Zane, you're so good. You know the words. Nice.
Thanks, Kai.
I don't know the rest of the song.
Big Trouble Little Ninjago. Every season up till Season 7 all got DVD releases in the US and Canada. Season 8 was the last season to get a DVD release. Moving forward, the last 7 seasons didn't receive any DVD releases in the US and Canada. However, in other countries, they released the last 7 seasons on DVD. Which, to be honest, I wish we had the last 7 seasons on DVD just because of how Netflix is handling the seasons, because they removed half of the Oni trilogy, seasons 14, 15, and The Island, which was very disappointing for the Ninjago fans. So I'm really hoping that one day we might get the last 7 seasons onto DVD. Hunted. Firstborn. Skylar can be seen in the background spying on Dareth. Iron and Stone. The scene where Mr. E was disassembled was cut from the episode, leaving his fate ambiguous. Radio Free Ninjago. At the end of the previous episode, the final positions of the three ninja are Kai, Zane, and Jay. However, at the start of the episode, Kai and Zane have switched positions. How to Build a Dragon. This is Julia Michaels' first role since season 7 after voicing Lloyd. She also voices Edna, although she only has 2 lines in this episode. The Glided Path. After getting food, Dareth is seen in his casual clothing instead of his disguised clothing. 2 lies, 1 truth. Lloyd says that they all have their fill, although the bowls in front of everyone are completely full of noodles. Guess they lied about them eating. The Weakest Link. Dareth is seen in his disguised clothing instead of his casual clothing after Lloyd comes in to help him, which in the Glided Path, he's wearing his casual clothing instead of his disguised clothing, whereas this episode, he's wearing his disguised clothing instead of his casual clothing, which is probably a commonly known Ninjago mistake, so I would forgive the animators for that due to the fact that they had to pump out new seasons every year, so I guess that makes sense of that little mistake. Saving Fate. According to Tommy Andresen, no other outcome was ever discussed regarding Harumi's death, so they decided a building that stood on 40 floors tall would kill Harumi. Lessons for a Master. The Battle Wagon was originally going to have a set, which I feel like that does make sense to have that set be cancelled because it was sort of a battle tank, which I would love to see, but thankfully Brick Legends have made a mock of the set, which honestly looks pretty good. Green Destiny. When Jay first talks to Nia after he returns from the first realm, the cloud behind him resembles a pink heart. March of the Oni. The darkness comes. When Cole gets into the car, he opens both rear doors. When he leaves, both rear doors seem to be closed. Into the Breach. When March of the Oni aired in the US as a movie, the Omega's line that perished with them was cut out, but instead, the episode ended with Zane's line, "The signal is lost, Kai."
The signal is lost, Kai.
The Fall. Tommy Andresen stated that episode 97 is the most intense episode of the series yet. He also stated that episode 97 is his favorite, which that makes sense just because of the epic climax fall of Cole falling off from the Destiny's Bounty. Endings. The original idea for the ending of the episode was going to have Garmadon flying away with Firstborn with all 4 golden weapons to create a new realm as the first Spinjitzu master has done. Which I would love to see Garmadon make his own realm. Maybe he would rule the realm and probably have his own utopia of some sort. Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu. Wasted True Potential. This season was originally scheduled to be released in Canada on May 11, 2019, but was removed and rescheduled for August 10, 2019. However, the trailer featuring incomplete color grading was not meant for public viewing. This was mistakenly released by Teletoon on April 30th, 2019, but was taken down shortly after. Questing for Quest. The movie director in this episode looks very similar to Steven Spielberg in the LEGO Jurassic World the video game. A Rocky Start. Cole reads the title card for this episode, but in the Brazilian version of the episode, the narrator is Kai instead of Cole. The Belly of the Beast. Using the jargon, the first word Jake harmed was ninja, booby traps and how to survive them. When Zane is reading the inscription, his right arm is not seen. The news never sleeps. This episode marks the first episode that Jay does not appear in of the entire series. I guess that was some huge news at the end of the day. Ninja vs. Lava. This infamous meme is from this episode.
He recommends vocal exercises like bro bro goo goo, bro bro goo goo.
How is saying a bunch of nonsense possibly gonna help us?
Sickastrophe. This episode is unique, as its style is more sketch comedy instead of story plot driven, which I like how this episode is more of a standalone episode. I actually really like this episode at the end of the day. Powerless. In one scene during the museum fight, Lloyd grunts in Kai's voice. Ancient history. In this episode, the ninja are conferred to view Scales as a friend. Wow, that took about 10 seasons later? Never trust a human. When the episode was uploaded to Lego's YouTube channel, after Char says, Aspago, Aspira says, you idiot, instead of you fool.
Aspira, you idiot.
Aspago?
Aspira, you fool.
Undersurge. The sentence on Clutch's paper is, Clutch powers is awesome in a jargon. The Explorers Club. Zane was briefly disguised himself as Sorla, although he wasn't aware of her existing due to not visiting the Neverrealm yet. Vengeance is mine. When Aspira attacks Kai, when he had the second scroll of Forbidden Spinjitzu, the flames on his head appear even though his elemental powers was stolen from him. A cold goodbye. The intro recap shows Zane's left arm is oddly engaged and clipping through the previous episode. His left arm was normal and moved behind his back. The Neverrealm. In most countries, this episode was paired up with a cold goodbye. Firemaker. The Blizzard Sword Samurais and Blizzard Archers are comprised entirely of ice, while the Blizzard Warriors are seemingly corrupted by it. An unlikely ally. When Vex is watching Lloyd leave the village, the size of the crystal he is watching from changes from the small crystal used in the Neverrealm to a big chunk. The absolute worst. This episode is currently the lowest rated episode of Ninjago on IMDb. The message. Cole saying his story is appropriate for kids ages 5 to 13 is a reference to Ninjago's target demographic, which that's probably true, but most Ninjago fans are in their early 20s. The Traveler's Tree. This and the previous episode, The Message, were the last episodes to air in 2019 in the US. Craig's Larmont. The episode title partially shares the name of Craig's of Larmont in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Gates to Infinity. Secret of the Wolf. When Grenfex returns to the Castle of Ice, he is holding his axe, but when he says, "Victory is yours," the axe disappears. The last of the Formlings. Randy Schutt stated he was very proud of the episode. My enemy, my friend. When the episode was uploaded to Cartoon Network Asia's YouTube channel, it was incorrectly titled The Kaiju Protocol, the title of the following episode. The Kaiju Protocol. This was the final ever appearance of Traveler's Tree. Corruption. Although this episode was released in 2019, 8 years after the pilot episodes, in chronological order, it's placed before Way of the Ninja, due to the fact that Zane has been sent around 60 years in the past by Aspira. Thus, the events are taking place before the pilot episodes. A Fragile Hope. According to Zane, he has his scepter frozen to his hand once he took over the Neverrealm. However, in Akita's flashback in The Last of the Formlings, he is shown without it. Once and for all. The episode was originally named Fire and Ice. Awakenings. This episode had many things cut out. Tommy Andresa wanted Nia to take control of Burial with her elemental powers, ripping its wings off instead of crushing it with ice. And Randy Schutt stated that he wanted a scene of Zane apologizing to Akita. But all of these scenes wouldn't have fit in the episode since there wasn't enough time to put in it. Prime Empire. Would you like to enter Prime Empire? The socket J plugs Prime Empire in is a Type G commonly found in Ireland, the UK, Pakistan, and many other countries around the world. Dire Island. Unagami was listed in the credits, despite not appearing in the episode. Level 13. Alan Marion was not credited for voicing Captain Soto in the credits. Superstar Rocking J. The Cartoon Network official description says the ninja are searching for Zane instead of Jay. I am Okino. The bottom half of Kai's scar reappears in this episode, after being absent since the animation studio changed from Willfilm to Wildbrain. The Glitch. After Nia respawns for the first time, her shoulder pads are missing. The Cliffs of Hysteria. Another shoulder pads incident where Cole attempts to move Okino out of his misery. His shoulder pads are missing. The Maze of the Red Dragon. After Lloyd asks Okino how to defeat the dragon, Jay screams with Zane's voice. One step forward, two steps back. In Japan, the episode is narrated by both Jay and Nia, with Jay saying the first part of the title and Nia saying the second part, which I would love to see in the English version of the episode. I wish they did that. Racer 7. Vincent Tong released a behind-the-scenes clip on Instagram where the cast were trying super hard not to laugh, which is an every session occursion.
In about 2 seconds, I'm gonna call the red visors, so back off.
Think about it. When you're ready to listen. Oh, that's not it. Think about it. When you're ready to listen, I'll be at the empty lot in the market district. Nobody should be programmed to lose, 7. You deserve a chance to cross the finish line.
Way to go, Sammy.
Oh, it's choice.
The Speedway 5 billion. Some of the vehicles in the race are actually vehicles used by the Ninja from previous seasons, albeit slightly altered. The Chrome Dome's cars are similar to the Legacy J's Lightning Off-Roader, Racer 7 is the Legacy Lloyd's Jungle Raider, and the Ballistic Missiles cars are similar to Kai's ATV from Season 11. Stop, Drop, and Side Scroll. The two main gaming sections of the episode can be compared to various real-life video games. The side-scrolling segment shares similar attributes to that of the Donkey Kong and Super Mario franchise, Shovel Knight, Terraria, and numerous other side-scroll games. The boss battle between Lloyd and Harubi are similar attributes to that of Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. Ninjago Confidential. This was one of Brent Miller's favorite episodes to record, and one of his favorite recording sessions of his life. As cool as it was, he also got nominated for a Leo Award for his performance as Zane in this episode. The Prodigal Father. In the Japanese dub, past Unagami speaks with his child voice. The Temple of Madness. When Unagami was fighting Jay when he was on an aerial drone, his left hand was missing. Game Over. In the Polish version of the episode, the narrator is Lloyd instead of Jay. Strangely, the episode in the Latin American version is Cyrus Bork, even though he was never appeared in the episode. Master of the Mountain. Shitaru. Pixel's only appearance is in this episode as a cameo, making this her only appearance in the season until the next season. Into the Dark. The ninjas line up when bowing to Vangelis pays homage to the Mask of Deception, with the ninjas positioned in the exact same spots when bowing to the Emperor and Empress, with the addition of Wu added to the far left of the lineup. Hutchings is replaced by Helmar in this case. Coincidentally, the former Jade Princess also appears, albeit off-screen. The worst rescue ever. This is the last episode to feature the full Shintaro Dungeon Whip in the full intro until the Skull Sorcerer. The Two Blades. The cardboard cutouts of the ninja uses their minifigure faceprints. However, Zane's faceprint is different because his minifigure has no smiling faceprint until 2023. Queen of the Months. This episode marks Nia's first appearance in her hero suit, but unlike the minifigure, both arms are tan-colored, where on the minifigure, one is tan and the other is silver. Trial by Mino. The Season 13 blooper reel released on the LEGO Life app shows Green Screen Gary as the Mino. The Skull Sorcerer. Brandy Schutt said the directors haven't established whether Cole is colorblind or not, based on his failing to recognize the colors of the skull of Hasador. However, he said, "I wouldn't be surprised if he was." This was later confirmed from Doc Wyatt that Cole is officially colorblind. Now, to my headcanon, to me, I say that Cole isn't colorblind, but hey, it's confirmed that Cole is colorblind. So if you want, you can have Cole as colorblind throughout the entire franchise, or you could just say that he wasn't colorblind at all, and Cole was just guessing on what color the skull of Hasador was. The Real Fall. Wu's hat always lands on top of someone's head when it falls off of Wu's head. This is shown when it falls out to Cole's, Vanya's, and the Stone Turtle's head during the episode. Dungeon Party. The gem on Vanya's forehead in the 2D animation appears to be a dark blue colored opal, despite the gem appearing as a purple diamond in the regular animation and on her minifigure. Dungeon Crawl. When the lava monster starts to attack, Cole can be heard grunting in Kai's voice. Griefbringer. Kai wears his hero suit when the Grey Slug was being pushed to the goal, even though he didn't actually wear it till Zane and the Geckos go to the meeting. Masters never quit. The carving in the heart of the mountain showing Lily's beginning to do the burst. The Blaze of Deliverance seemed to be represented as one katana, the darkest hour. This popular meme is from this episode.
You shall not be granted permission to traverse beyond this point!
The Ascent. In the Taiwanese airings of this episode, the split second when the stone mech stabs through the lava monster was cut out. However, the same scene was not cut out from intro sequences of the next episode. The Upley strike back. In the extended synopsis, it was implied that Jay noticed Vangelis with the Blaze of Deliverance while he was forming a plan. However, in the episode, it was Cole who was the one who was forming the plan. The Son of Lily. In Australia and the US, this was the last episode to air before Kirby Morrow's death on November 18, 2020. The Island. Uncharted. The opening shot of this episode is seemingly the most beautiful render Tommy Andreessen has ever seen in the show, which from the opening shot, it is probably the most beautiful render I ever saw from Ninjago. The Keepers of the Amulet. While on the runaway from the Stone Guardians, when Nia asks where Lloyd and Twitchy Tim are, watching closely shows the back of Jay's head is slightly clipping through his mask. The Gift of Jay. As part of the 44-minute special version of The Island, instead of the episode ending with Kai saying, "I guess someone did want Jay," it ends with Jay saying, "There's something big out there."
I guess someone did want Jay.
Oh, there's something big out here!
The Tooth of Ojira. Throughout the episode, Zane's voice lacks the robotic filter, sounding very similar to his voice prior to Tournament of Elements, and in episodes of Sons of Garmadon and Marcho Dione, where he uses his human cloak.
Can you define something?
Seabound. A big splash. The design of the water tornado created by Nia is the same as the design of the Spinjitzu burst in The Son of Lily. The Call of the Deep. When Maya finishes cleaning Nia's room, there is a clock behind her, which reads 1:50 p.m. However, Maya claims it is 6 o'clock a.m.
Rise and shine, sleepyhead. It's 6 a.m. Early ninja gets the worm.
Unsinkable. Pixel reads the title card for this episode. However, in the Polish version, it's Maya instead of Pixel, and in the Japanese version, it's Zane instead of Pixel. 5,000 Phantoms Down. The episode's previously segment features a scene from the episode itself, where Maya and Nia are emerging from the water upon discovering the temple. This marks the first instant of using unseen footage in the previous segment in the show's history. The Wrath of Kalmar. When Lloyd tries to stop Jay from powering the battery, no bubbles come out from his scuba mask, though that is meant to show him breathing. Long live the king. This episode provides an in-universe explanation on why Zane wears a scuba mask even though he doesn't need one. He wears one just because it feels complete in his attire. Escape from Merlopia. Although Pixel has a blackface border underwater in the previous episode, it is missing in this episode. The Tale of Benthamar. The synopsis says that Benthamar was a baby when Triamar found him, and his behavior in the episode confirms this. However, his appearance is not based on the Lego baby mold such as the one used for Baby Woo, but instead is a classic minifigure with short legs instead. The Storm Amulet. Kai is listed in the credits, but never made an appearance in this episode. Riddle of the Sphinx. The Seabound teaser trailer published on LEGO's YouTube channel contains a short shot of Woo at night, although the real scene in the episode is in daylight. Paper Girl. The name of the ice cream shop Antonia was going to work for, the Dairy Dragon, as well as several flavors such as Ninjapolitan, Mango Moro, Orange Serpentine, and Bananacon, were all thought up from fans and were chosen in a contest by Brandy Should on Twitter. Master of the Sea. Brandy Should said the dialogue where Kalmar says he's leaving with the amulet is some classic Doc Wyatt and Kevin Burke humor. This is why they're now the head writers of Dragons Rising. The Calm Before the Storm. This is the only episode that is not a season premiere to not have an intro, excluding the second, 3rd, and 4th pilot episodes. Assault on Ninjago City. Kalmar is briefly not seen on Wajira in some shots, like when Wajira is blasting the Destiny's bounty, Niad. In the credits, Cole is credited as voiced by Glyce Palton, and Kalmar is voiced by Kelly Sheridan. The Turn of the Tide. Tommy Andreasen was sobbing loudly as he read Brandy's final script for this episode.
I was on a plane home from Budapest. I had just received, okay, here's the final script for 2021 from Braggy, and I was just sitting in the plane reading this thing and sobbing loudly. Saying that's because it's sad or if it was touching or anything like that, but it was just like the fact that you could get that kind of a reaction out of something on a written page really means that the stuff that has come before it really has, been absorbed by you. It keeps culminating in my mind.
Crystalized. Farewell the Sea. Kai's hands remains yellow throughout the entire episode, except when he opens his first window to interact with Lloyd, which he is seen with black hands. The Call of Home. This episode marks the first time in the Wildbrain seasons where seasons from the previous season are displayed in the opening sequence. The Shape of Nia. When Jay looks into the glass of water, his freckles are not visible on the reflection. A Mayor problem. When Zane freezes Lloyd and Kai, Kai's left arm is slightly bent and leans against his hip. However, in the next shot, his hand is normally straightened next to his body. Public Enemies 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The billboard on Dareth, which the truck crashes into, is the same image used for the 2 Truths 1 Lie for Crystalized. A Painful Promise. A Wildbrain animator said that they had animated a water balloon toss between Wu and Aspira, but it was cut for unknown reasons. Ninjago City vs. Ninja. William Horace Tough Butt's name is a slight play to William Howard Taft, who was the 27th president of the US from 1909 to 1913. Interestingly, Taft had been a judge before and after his prejudices. Cryptarium Prison Blues. Dareth in this season has no lines at the sides of his mouth that accurates the fatter face, which may indicate that he lost weight during the 1-year gap that he lost the weight. Hound Dog McBride. On the Netflix and YouTube versions of this episode, several scenes in the episode uploaded have a glare effect near the bottom left of the screen during certain scenes. This is likely not a result of the events in the episode, as it is also present in part of the intro and other scenes that take place across different locations. But in the foreign YouTube uploads of the episode, such as the Japanese version, there's no glare effect. Tommy Andreasen has the pristine version of the episode, but this episode was later fixed on Netflix. Now, I checked the YouTube version that was uploaded on May 20th of 2022. However, I didn't see any glaring shots of it or glare effects, so I feel like this was of course fixed or something like that later down the line. The Benefit of Grief. One of the characters, Sally, has the LGBTQ flag on the back of the van. However, there exists a version of the episode where the Prime flag is removed from the van that aired in certain countries such as China. The Fifth Villain. When Cole stumbles to get the water bottle, for a brief moment, his old voice can be heard. This is due to a clip of his old voice being reused from stock audio.
Littering!
The Council of the Crystal King. This infamous meme is from this episode.
Unfortunately, it seems we have an imposter among us. What? Who?
A Sinister Shadow. This is the second episode of the entire series to use a different music in its opening sequence than the one used in other episodes of the season. The Spider's Design. Harumi blaming Lloyd for her death and saving Fate seems highly illogical, as in the episode, Lloyd was on top of the building that was very far away from the one that collapsed on Harumi, and at the time, Lloyd didn't have his powers, in which Harumi herself is to partially blame for the one, as she had Garmadon brutally beat Lloyd in True Potential, causing him to lose such powers, and thus Lloyd could not have done anything at all to have saved Harumi from her own demise. So we blame it on Harumi. The fall of the monastery. Tommy Andreasen revealed a part of the script of Wu fighting for this episode, saying it is easily one of the most complex fight scenes in history of the Ninjago show. Later, he added, "When I first read it 7 or 8 months ago, it sends shivers down my spine. There isn't much to go, but it evokes the right feeling and shows great trust in whoever will make words come alive. And this is the collaboration and the magic which manifests Ninjago." Darkness Within. During the scene where the 4 original ninja are struggling to hold up the boulder above them for any longer, when Cole says, "I'm sorry guys," he says it in his old voice.
I'm sorry, guys!
The Coming of the King. When Aspira tells the mechanic to jump and him not wanting to jump, Vangelis leaves the conversation, even though he has wings, knowing he can go after Lloyd and Harumi. Return to Primeval's Eye. This is the 124th episode with the ninjas' new designs. This means that as of this episode, both designs have the same amount of screen time, with the original designs being on screen for 74 to 22-minute episodes, and the new designs being on 24, 22-minute episodes and 111-minute episodes. Crystastrophe. Garmadon's shirt in this and the next episode is based on Tommy Andreasen's shirt. Christopher. Garmadon mentions that he was resurrected from the Cursed Realm instead of the Departed Realm, which is incorrect, as the Cursed Realm was already destroyed by the time the events of Sons of Garmadon occurred. Technically, his physical body was still located in the Cursed Realm at the bottom of the Endless Sea when he was resurrected. Arrested in Anger. When Wu explains to the ninja that Lloyd is part Odie, a piece of his beard cuts into his body. Brave but foolish. On the version of the episode posted on LEGO's YouTube channel, the Overlord's line at the end of the episode is missing and there is no outro.
So the end begins.
Quitted Time. On LEGO's YouTube channel version of the episode, the outro is missing, as well as Wu smiling at the end of the episode.
You tell him, Master Wu! You tell him, Master Wu!
Return of the Ice Emperor. LEGO's version of Randy Shun and Tommy Andreasen makes their first cameo in this episode. Safe Haven. As of this episode, the ninja have their post-movie designs longer than their pre-movie designs. Compatible. Ironically, the word compatible is never said in the episode. Distress Calls. Lloyd's message for the Serpentine on the blackboard is written upside down. An issue of trust. Zane and Pixel were surprised to see Ronin, despite him having saved them in Return of the Ice Emperor. Dragon Form. Now with the Teapot of Tyron in their possession, Tommy Andreasen and Randy Shit left the newspaper warehouse. This would also be a double meaning, as this would be their last season that they would be involved with in the series. Which, thank God they took the Teapot of Tyron, because I don't know how Doc Wyatt and Kevin Burke were to handle the whole Teapot of Tyron situation in Dragon's Rising. So thank God that Tommy Andreasen and Randy Shit took the Teapot of Tyron and stole it from Clutch Powers. That way they could, of course, leave the show and also leave the Teapot of Tyron with them. That way no one had to deal with the Teapot at all in Dragon's Rising. Roots. Tommy Andreasen once mentioned that he would like for the final episode of Ninjago to match the shot of Wu walking up to For Weapons Blacksmith and Way of the Ninja. The scene at the end of the episode, when Wu looks into the distance, does resemble the shot in the pilot episodes where Wu looks at the blacksmith shop from afar. And there we have it. That is, of course, one fact of all 210 episodes of all 15 seasons of Ninjago. And there was so much to talk about of all of these episodes and all of these cool fun facts. And tell me in the comments which of these facts were the most interesting out of all 210. I would love to see all of your thoughts down in the comments down below. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this cool little video of me spilling out a lot of Ninjago information and talking about one fun fact about all 210 episodes. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys subscribe, turn on notifications whenever I post a brand new video. And until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!